Hello, teacher.
Hi, Flor. Good morning.
Good
Flor.
morning.
Yes, so sorry, Flor.
No problem.
I'm trying to get some paper. Like I'm traveling to.
Hello, teacher.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'm having a trip. Like I don't know. I think I mentioned on Thursday, and there are some things that I have to have the vaccine and many things. Sorry, and I've been doing that every morning, and sorry, I forgot to bring my computer there. Okay, let me show you the next tip that we have. One second. Can you see my screen?
No.
Okay, let me see. What about
Okay, now I can see.
Okay, great. Okay, so the next tip, Flor, is to listen for the tone of voice. And this is going to be especially important for one of the TOEFL exercises because sometimes we have to try to recognize what they want to do when they are saying something. We have to recognize what is their intention. So the tone of voice is going to be important for that task. No. Also, in just in informal conversation, it's also important to recognize it because sometimes people could have different type of voices or tone of voice, and they're going to try to say something different each time. And also recognizing the tone of voice can help us to understand how the person in conversation, it will help us to understand how they feel. For example, if someone speaks too fast, they're probably upset, or maybe they speak too slow, maybe they are angry. No, there are many ways that we can there are many ways that they can feel, and the only way that we can understand that is trying to pay attention to the tone of voice. And how can we pay attention to that? No, listen for maybe how fast do they speak, if they're speaking maybe quietly, no, or maybe they're speaking too loud. That's how we can recognize this, no, the tone of voice. And sometimes the voice, maybe you don't like the tone of voice that you hear, or the way they're talking to you. So maybe there the person is being rude, no? The meaning of rude, as you remember, no, they're not polite. So for example, when you are, but you know the meaning of rude, no? When someone is not polite, no? So sometimes when you don't like the way they talk, maybe they are not being nice, no? And also, you can also recognize positive things when someone is talking, when you like their tone of voice, not when you enjoy their tone of voice. Not when you enjoy. How can you recognize these different type of tones of voice, which is related with their fields? Is just to practicing, no? To trying to listen to many different people talking, and try to understand, maybe recognize how do they feel. No? Every time we listen to something, let's try to recognize how do they feel. So how do I start this? Maybe we can recognize when they're speaking, we can try to recognize their change, their voice change, because we never talk plain, no? We never talk like that, no? Sometimes maybe we can start slow, and maybe we start to speak a little bit higher. Maybe we start to speak lower, and maybe we go up again. No, it depends. But we never speak like straight. No, so maybe we can pay attention to their voice changes. Maybe we can try to see excitement in them, or if we maybe they are asking some questions, they can show maybe not happiness. Not those, it's related with feelings, like I mentioned. No? Maybe they can show depression, maybe they're sad, maybe they're angry, or maybe they are just being maybe a little bit rude, no, they're condescension, or maybe they're frustrated. No? And we can recognize that paying attention to their tone of voice. All right, so any questions, Fleur, before we start the first exercise?
No, teacher.
Okay. So let me share the first exercise. Let me share. Okay, so we're going to listen to a base level of conversation. It's from the A2 level. So you're gonna try to recognize how do they feel. So let's listen and let's recognize how do they feel, okay?
Okay.
Let's see, okay, it's a 4-minute video. We're going to listen to 4 conversations, okay? So let's pay attention. You can take notes if you want to, but you don't have to. But let's pay attention. How do they feel in each of the conversations? All right, and also remember what they are talking about, okay? So we're going to have 2 questions. Maybe summarize what's the conversation about, and then how the person feel, or how do they feel while they're speaking, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's start. Or maybe you want me to share the link. I think you can hear better, no?
Yes.
Or I can play it. It's up to you.
I will share.
All right. Maybe, okay, I think you have the permission now. All right, great. So, Fleur, could you recognize the tone of voice of each of the conversations?
Yes.
So, remember, the first time we hear to something, it should be to recognize what they're talking about. And if we have the opportunity to listen again, maybe we can pay attention to some details. Now in this example, to see their tone. So, if you don't remember, that's fine. But let's see. What was the tone of the first? What they are talking about in the first conversation?
In the first conversation, it was about an interview that a woman did, and she was confused because how do you say reclutadores? Recruit?
Oh, yes, they were recruiting.
The recruiting just say that they will call her, and but she think that she got the job.
All right, that's great. Let's see, conversation number 2. Do you remember what they are talking?
Number 2. I just remember that they talk in a happy way. I don't remember.
Okay, you don't remember what they were talking about, but you recognize that they were happy. Exactly.
Yes.
All right. What about conversation number 3?
The number 3 was about a couple. They talk about some photograph. For example, she see his boyfriend or husband, that he's in the sofa eat chocolate.
Yes.
And the man see a photo of her ex-boyfriend.
All right. Yes.
They were funny about the photos.
Okay. Yes. Like they were remembering and thinking about many things. Yes, that's correct. And what about the last conversation?
The last conversation, it was about partners. The woman says sorry to him because he is not in the group. He have to find another group.
All right. And how do they sound?
The woman, it was very sorry, and like
Okay.
And the man, it was at the beginning confused and then angry.
Yes. Yes. He sounds frustrated, no?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so let's see the next tip. Okay, this tip is more helpful when we think about conversations. Okay, so it's not going to be very helpful for like maybe working on an assignment or related with a TOEFL. No, it's mostly for conversations. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So when we are in a conversation, we have to take we have to pay attention to the other person, obviously, no? But we also need the other person talk, right? So we can have that interaction between with each other. So how do they do that? We need to keep the other person talking, no? And sometimes it's difficult to make them speak. So we have to pay attention to what they are saying. What they are saying is important to continue or to keep the other person talking. No? It's important that we also practice not just on ourselves, seeing other people interacting. So, for example, when there is a introduction, maybe between two people that they doesn't know each other, there is a lot of interaction there. No, because they want to know things about each other, and they ask many questions. So, how do we do that? There are some strategies that we can start. For example, you can try to ask, obviously paying attention to the person. You have to ask many questions, but there is no way that you can have a conversation with someone if you don't ask questions. No? So, for example, they said that they work at a certain place. And you can ask questions about it. Maybe you know something about that place. No? You can ask questions. For example, they say they work at TIGO. No? You're talking with someone, and at some point you ask them, oh, and where do you work? Or what do you do? And they say, oh, I work at TIGO. No, you don't say, okay. No, you can ask many questions about TIGO. It's an interesting job, I guess. No, and we know about this place. So maybe you can ask, oh, and what do you do? Maybe I have internet TIGO at home, or maybe my cousin used to work there too, or no, anything that you can think of related with the information that they give you. Always ask questions. That's very, very, very important. You have to also show interest. No, it's not just asking questions. You have to show interest in what the other person is saying. No, so for example, if they say that they like maybe dogs, no? Because you're showing interest. How can you show interest while they're talking about dogs, for example? Now you can say, oh, I also have dogs. What type of dogs do you have? How long do you have your dogs? So what are their names? No, you have to show this interest, and it has to sound or look real, no, not fake. So there are also some expressions that we can learn. Sorry, there are some expressions that we can learn depending on the context, no? But maybe certain expressions or phrases or phrasal verbs or slang, no? They can help the other person talking because they're going to feel comfortable, no? So it's not the same if we speak maybe very polite to someone our age, and if we speak in their slang, no? Do you know the meaning of slang, Flor?
No.
It's, for example, certain words that people use in certain contexts. For example, it's very common in English context. Instead of saying going to, they say gonna. Or try, going to do something. No, they say gonna. Or, for example, let's see, a word that they use. Let's see, hungry. What's hungry? No, it's a word that comes from hungry and angry. That's a slang. No? When someone says, I'm hungry with a, it means, for example, that they are angry and hungry. No? They're angry because they're hungry. No, because hungry with you is hambriento, no? So they're hungry. That's a slang, for example. No, these are words that people use. For example, in Bolivia, we have, let's say, put, no, or macan, que macan. No, that's a slang, because if we use that word in any other country, they're probably not going to know what they're going to say. No, it's a very specific word or way that we have to speak in different contexts, in different cities, in different groups, no? For example, younger people have different slang. Maybe people of our age have other slang, no? But it's very specific way to speak. So we're using that, it's going to make the other person feel comfortable, no? While they're talking. Certain expressions too, no? So when you are talking with other person, no, and you have the opportunity maybe to talk and practice, always try to jump and participate in the conversation. Because sometimes for us, non-English speakers, it's a little bit difficult not to jump and participate in a conversation. But we have to practice, no? And we just need to ask questions, no? Pay attention what they're talking about, and ask questions, show interest, no? And try to keep the other person talking. No, it's just not what question they answer and it's done. No, we have to have many different questions and try to engage into an interaction. No, and that will be, well, this is a tip more for conversation. No? But any questions so far?
No, teacher.
Okay. So let's jump into a little exercise. It's a short listening. It's about a trip to Africa. So maybe we can pay attention to what they are saying and their, let's see, what language they are using. Remember, that's the next tip. What type of language? Is it formal or informal? And also their tone of voice. Are they sad, angry, excited, etc.? All right. So let's listen to the audio one more time to recognize that. And the second time, we will listen to answer the questions. Okay? But I will ask you I will ask you these 3 questions before, not when you've heard the audio for the first time. What they are talking about, what's what language are they using, formal or informal? And the last question will be their tone of voice. Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's start. You have the link on the chat if I'm not wrong. Yes, you have. Okay, if you could share it, that would be great. Thank you. It's just All right. So, what they are talking about?
Um, is it's about the adventure on Africa.
Yes. Um, can you summarize a little bit about what they are talking about?
Yes, the person talk the animals that he saw.
Yes.
Uh, he was surprised of the lions. Yes, I think the lions.
Yes. Great.
Um, he lied because uh, he had to walk a lot
Yes.
to explore the nature,
The nature.
the nature. Um, but at the end, he said that is too much trouble for him.
Yes. All right. Excellent. Very good job. Okay. So, what type of um, language did they use? Formal or informal?
Formal because he used connectors.
Okay. Um, um, yes, he used many connectors, but it was more informal because he was just uh, describing something for him, no? And because it's something personal, it's his experience, it's informal, I would say, because he's describing what things did he do, or he described how did he feel, how was his experience, no? It will be a little bit more formal, maybe, if maybe he was describing information from a book, or maybe he was talking with someone that he didn't know, no? But I think it was a little bit more informal. It has some formal words, but it was a little bit more informal for the context. And finally, the third question, Fleur, how did he feel? How do you think he was feeling?
I feel at the end tired
Yeah, that's
because
correct.
it was a huge adventure for him.
Yes, yes, right, yes. He sounded tired. That's correct. All right, great. Now we can let's answer the questions, okay? So what do you think? What was the answer? Why did Paul choose the part of Africa he visited? What of the options do you think is correct? It was good for walking. Um, it wasn't change, or he had been there before.
It's good for walking.
Yes and no. He described it, that, but that's not why he chose that part of he visit. Not some point he said that it was good for walking, but the reason why did he choose, why? What do you think?
Mm, it will soon change.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's correct. We will soon change. Great, excellent. Okay, could you read now question number 2, please, and the options? Thank you. Um, and I was saying, no, maybe you can read out loud number 2 and the options.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
What made the team's journey slow? Clearing paths through the forest, finding somewhere safe to camp, carrying heavy equipment.
Excellent. What do you think? It's correct.
Carrying heavy equipment.
Um, yes, and they mentioned that, but this is the reason that made the teams slow. Not they were slow. They couldn't go very fast. So it's another option.
What is clearing paths?
Um, what is what? Sorry, clearing paths. Clearing paths is like, for example, you want to go from point A to point B, and maybe there is no way to get there. So you start maybe to cut trees, or you can move some things, maybe move some rocks, no, and you made your way. That's the meaning. No? Clearing paths through the forest, like you make your own path to go to a certain point. Like you create this little road maybe from to go to one place to another.
Okay, I think the answer is finding somewhere safe to camp.
Um, all right, let's move to the next one.
What
Num-
did Paul worry about during the trip?
mhm.
The number of dangerous animals, getting the information he needs, being responsible for a team of people.
Yes. What do you think? What did worry? Did he worry?
Um, getting no, the number of dangerous animals.
All right. Let's see the next one. Number 4.
Paul says that the team didn't have enough food because some people ate more than they should. The walk took longer than expected.
Yes.
Some of the food went bad too quickly.
Yes. So what do you think?
See, some of the food went bad too quickly.
All right. And next one.
Why were the team grateful to the fisherman they met?
Mhm.
He let everyone rest on his boat. He helped one of them who was ill. He told them which direction to take.
Yeah. So what do you think? A, B, or C?
See, he told them which direction to take.
All right.
How does Paul feel now he is back home? He's planning to do another trip. He misses the people in the team. He thinks the trip was a valuable experience.
Great. Valuable experience. So which one is it?
He thinks the trip was a valuable experience.
Nice. That's nice. All right. So, Mr. Yes. Unfortunately, the options were not correct. But let's see. Instead of, for example, in number 2, what do you think was the correct answer? What made the team slow?
Clearing paths
Yes.
through the forest.
Exactly. Yes, that was correct. What about number 3? Why he worried about the trip during the trip? Sorry. Why do you think he worried?
Getting the information he needs.
No, it was actually because he wanted to feel well. He felt weird, not about being responsible for a team of people.
Oh,
That's why he
yeah.
was a little bit worried.
Okay.
What
Yes.
about number 4? Why did he have enough food?
I'm not sure. Number 4,
Okay.
but I see
If you will have to guess, maybe. If you will have to take a guess, which one will you choose?
A. Some people ate more than they should.
Great, that's actually the correct answer. Now it was a little bit logical. Great, awesome. Then what about number 5? Why they were grateful for a fishman?
He helped one of them who was ill.
Yes, excellent. Yes, that's correct. All right. So usually well, sometimes the answers are quite logic, but it's not always the case, no? Um,
Yes.
so obviously maybe their voice, how did his voice make you feel? The voice of this poor person.
Mm,
Did he
eh,
sound friendly or angry, or did you like their tone of voice? How did you,
I don't think he lied
all right,
because he told the truth
okay,
about the travel.
all right, yes. Um, but their tone of voice, did you enjoy listening or no?
No.
Yes, it was the sound of his voice. I didn't like it either. So sometimes when that happens, we tend to pay less attention to what they're talking about. For example, if we hear an audio of someone that which is maybe angry or mad, we stop paying attention because it doesn't sound very warm, maybe, or it doesn't sound. It sounds like something is wrong, and then we start. No, we don't listen. But yes, the voice. I didn't also like the voice. So sometimes even just that can affect in the way we understand something. So it's important to pay attention to that. Okay, third. So before we finish, I wanted to show you the document. The other day, I already upload all the listening. They start to get a little bit more maybe academic at some point, especially the last one. It's a very, very academic audio. It's a presentation about design. So this one, it's going to be obviously a little bit difficult than the first ones, no? So please don't forget to work on the assignments. Um, no, remember you have to listen to the audio and then record your an audio summarizing the information in no more than 1 minute. No? So please don't forget to do that. We are missing the November 16th, 17th, and,
Yes.
and 2 days. No. So whenever you have a chance, please try to do it. And what else I wanted to mention? That so far. Any questions about the information that we've seen or something that is not clear, maybe?
No, teacher.
All right, so between tomorrow and the next day, we're going to finish with some of these tips. We're going to continue practicing listening, but please don't forget to work on this also, this work. This is homework, no? Okay, so let me run today's polls. Today's polls is a little bit different. And it has 4 questions. Okay, so when you finish, we will have classes tomorrow, right?
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you very much, Flor. So I'll be on time tomorrow. So sorry for today.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. Anyways, thank you very much, Flor. Have a great day and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay. See
Okay.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.